Hey guys, what's going on? Today I want to show you a couple of must-use marketing platforms to make sure your property is getting the correct exposure and the right exposure to sell it for the most money possible. But that's pretty quick and easy. Let me just show you what I'm talking about. I can share my screen. I can come show you on my website. Download this free marketing platform. It'll tell you the must-use publications that'll help get the right eyes on your property, but more important than where you market is how you market. So I'm going to bring on a colleague, a guest, a friend of mine, Mike Russo. Just popped on. Hey, Mike, how you doing?
Great. How are you?
Doing good. Thanks for asking. Mike has sold the most expensive property at auction. He's sold more properties at auction than you've sold traditionally. And he's going to tell us why the auction message, specifically through SparkAuction, is the most pertinent, most powerful, and best way to sell not only a custom or unique or luxury home, but any home in today's market.
Great. Thanks, Cody.
Thank you.
So it's funny. I've been talking about this so much, and especially in the current market with everything is just so hot right now. I was on a call today actually with a gentleman from Minnesota that said, I just had a property that had 50 offers. I mean, I've operated as an agent, in my past. Like, how do you handle 50 offers? It's just impossible. And so the auction model is built for the best interest of the seller and also gives the buyer exactly what they're looking for in today's market. And what is that? They want transparency, right? How many people are really making offers on this property? What is the price? What do I have to compete against? Not in a secret way. And so, we all think that having lots of offers is the best thing with no availability of what people are offering. And I contend that auctions, which have been around for 500 years, right? Rome was once sold at auction, right? I used to work at Sotheby's for Sotheby's International Realty. I've been to many of the big art auctions. I've been many of the big car auctions that happen there in Arizona in January.
Right.
And, things that are of high desirability or hard to value sell at auction. And most homes today are fitting into highly desirable because there's more buyer, there's a higher amount of demand versus supply.
That's right.
And that's why I'm beating my drum to say, agents and consumers need to think strongly about auctions today.
Agreed. The most expensive things, the most unique things, the most luxurious things are sold at auction because really, how do you find a price point for a Picasso or a Van Gogh or a high-end antiquity, right? But to your point, homes are all unique. Every home is different, but what do they all have? They all have four walls, a roof, and a door, right? And the point that you're making is there's so much demand that a normal home, a track home, a trend home that would typically be on the market for a while is now in high demand. It's a unique property because it's for sale and there's not a lot of homes for sale. So in my experience, I like to sell homes at auction with you, you know that. But when I also represent buyers, I've had listing agents call me and cancel scheduled appointments or tell me they don't want me to put in one more offer because they already have enough offers and they got the offer they wanted. And isn't that the craziest thing ever? Like, what if I was going to offer more than what you have? You don't want that.
Right.
Did you forget how we get paid, by the way? It's per the offer amount. So what are you doing? You're shooting yourself in the foot. You're selling.
Well, actually, it's not even that, right? Yes, it's important, of course, on what you get paid, right?
To me, for sure.
Of course, but the most important thing for the seller as a fiduciary, which is really what the agent was hired for, right, is for the seller to have the best outcome for themselves.
That's right. And isn't it in the interest of the buyer if they can start a trend? And yeah, you might have spent more money than someone who bought in this neighborhood 2, 3, 5 years ago, but you're starting the trend and you're pulling the market value of all the competing area up. So you're doing yourself a disservice by buying at a discounted price versus buying what the market value actually says it is.
That the key there is market value, right? And I think, where we're at in 2021 is that the market is more fluid than it's ever been in our history, right? Because of the availability of information. We are the closest we've ever been to what the stock market works like. I had a property that we worked on 2 years ago that we started the price, the seller's like, I want to start it at 415. And they had lots of showings, lots of activity. And this is how fickle the market is today. This is how close it really is to the stock market. They had no offers, right? They had nobody registering, nobody. And I said to them, you really should lower the starting to, below 400.
Right.
So they did that after a couple of weeks. And then all of a sudden they started getting multiple bids and they wound up back at the 415 that they started at 2 weeks ago that nobody wanted, right? Why? Because they shifted. I always say this, Barbara Corcoran used to always say this to me, right? Nobody wants what nobody wants and everybody wants what everybody wants. And a $15,000, less than a 5% change in the price online changed it from what nobody wanted to what everybody wanted.
Isn't that interesting? It's the empty restaurant syndrome. If you're on vacation and there's two restaurants, one's empty and one's packed, but they're right next door to each other, where do you want to eat? Probably the busy one, right? Isn't that funny?
But you may wind up going to the empty one because you don't want to wait.
You don't want to compete. That's right. Well, I wanted to bring you on because I think it's really important. Tomorrow, I'm going to have a founder of the EXP world and the EXP Realty branch on my show. But I have a lot of agents that are friends and colleagues of mine, and they want to know why would you sell at auction? Why do you do that, Cody? And the best explanation I have for real estate agents, for sellers, and for buyers alike is it's just another tool in my tool belt. Like I said, I still represent buyers traditionally, and if a seller needs to go traditional, that's fine. Every home's different. But for the majority of properties for sale, they don't even have to have a completely free and clear title. For the majority of properties for sale, the best thing you can do, like you said, as a fiduciary responsibility, is to create an arena for buyers to compete on for that asset. Whether it's this water bottle or the house that you have listed, you have to do something that brings the market into a situation where they're competing. Because unless you're competing up, you're negotiating down. And so I just want all of my colleagues that are agents that are watching this, and sellers too, reach out to your agents and ask them, why are we listing the house the way we are? I've said this to you a couple times, Mike, but I'm going to say it for everybody else. Is Earl Nightingale is a big influence in my life. And he says 19 out of 20 people have no idea why they wake up, put their boots on, and go to work. They just do it because everybody else does it.
Right.
So all you real estate agents, why are you listing the home the way you are? Why are you using the photos that you're using? And why are you using the words and the descriptions that you're using? Is there a reason, or is it because that's how everybody else is doing it? The opposite of courage is not cowardice, it's conformity. So now's your chance to open up, because Mike, you've brought up a really valid point, and that is technology is taking over the world, and especially the real estate model. So whoever has the best tool in technology is going to be leading the future. And we just want to open that up to you guys.
Well, I mean, look at you have your license with EXP, right? I mean, that's a really hot company right now. 3 years ago, I know they've been around a lot longer than that, but just 3 years ago, it was like, who's EXP? I never even heard of these guys. And, right now their stock is literally on fire. And from a technology perspective, everything they're doing is investing in technology. I read something by Crunchbase last week that, I had founded another software company back in 2009 when it was almost impossible to raise money around real estate technology. The term Proptech didn't even exist. And, today, according to Crunchbase that I read last week, starting last March through now, there's been a record $9 billion invested worldwide in Proptech, right?
9 billion.
9 billion. This year alone has been $1 billion, right? In the first 2 months of the year, there's already been $1 billion invested. And so, why is that? It's because there's just an arms race that finally has happened in the space, right?
That's a good description.
Where the way that it's been done is no longer good enough.
Right. It's a great description as an arms race. I want to keep this under 10 minutes. I'm going to trim it a little bit so I can put this on LinkedIn, because LinkedIn has a lot of good platforms. But before I let you go, Mike's helping Danny Perkinson and I sell a property in Mesa, Arizona that was originally listed at $2 million. It's appraised at $2 million. But the seller made the smart decision, because he's already bought another home that's bigger and more valuable than this house. And he said, I don't want to carry 2 properties. And I know traditionally it will stay on the market for a minimum of 2 years. So I'm going to make the wise business choice, the smart decision, to let the buyers tell me what the market value is, since the buyers are the actual market. And I'm not greedy or unrealistic, so I'll sell it to whoever the best and highest offer is. That house you can find at mesahomeauction.com on the ticker below. But Mike's been helping so much with this property and creating such a great leadership base for us that I just wanted to say thank you. And I wanted to make it public, so thank you so much for helping us.
Thank you. I'm really looking forward to the sale in a couple of weeks.
All right, Mike. Hey, I appreciate you getting on my show. I hope you have a busy, successful rest of your day, and I'll talk to you soon.
You too. Thanks, Cody.
See ya.